take on the whole subject.
Interesting.
I can't wait for season 2 to come out. It's going to be awesome.
Is it on Netflix yet?
Yes. That's where I watched it.
Okay.
I don't have cable, so everything I watch on Netflix or Hulu.
Oh, Shane West is in it.
Yes.
Interesting. Now, the only reason, and I almost gag at the idea of admitting this, but the reason I know who Shane West is I actually used to watch ER. Remember the Chicago medical show? Did you ever watch that show?
I've seen episodes of it because obviously growing up it was so huge. But it was never my thing. About the only medical show I ever got into was House.
See, and I don't know why I watched that show. I was like, I started watching it in the first season and somehow just like kept watching it out of like nothing better to do that night or something. And then my first wife was a big fan of it, so we started watching it together, so it kind of became our thing. And that's why I continued watching it. And then, yeah, we watched it up until the last episode. But
Yep.
I mean, quite frankly, it really wasn't all that great a show. But
he was such a jerk. I loved it.
yeah.
I did love it.
I mean, there are very few shows that I watch now. I mean, there's a couple of the superhero ones. I although I'm not caught up on them, I did consider myself a regular viewer of Gotham,
Yes.
Flash, and Arrow.
I love Gotham.
Yeah, I love it, and I think I'm going to try to get caught up tonight after the show. But other than that, the only show I really watch is Big Bang Theory. Up until a few weeks ago, when a friend of mine at work recommended a show called Parks and Recreation to me. He said, you really need to watch the show because I think you'll like this guy in here named Ron Swanson. I was like, all right, I'll check it out. So now I like 2 or 3 weekends in a row, I binge watched it on Netflix. So I am completely caught up on it now. and it's what's really funny is I am actually not a fan of Amy Poehler. Never been a fan of her. She kind of irritates me.
Yeah.
But despite her, I still like that show because there's so many other characters on there that are hilarious. I mean,
I absolutely agree. And the city planner is great because that is kind of what you think of when you think of city planning. And for the listeners that don't know, that's what my master's is in. Describe the site to us. It's rectangular. Zoned for this. That's it.
But for those of you who don't watch the show, there's a character on the show. His name is Ron Swanson, and he's a libertarian. And he basically plays the role of this. He's throughout most of the show. He is the director of the Parks and Recreation office, and his whole plan, it seems, in life is to basically ruin the city government from within.
Yep.
And it's just he's just a really hilarious guy, and it's kind of funny how he develops over the course of the show. He changes a little bit, but that core Ron Swanson-ness is still there throughout the whole series, and it's just hilarious. I mean, he's this meat-loving. He once accidentally ate a vegetable. He's great. He's by far my favorite character on the show.
Another reason I first started watching it is because when I did start working for the government, they called me Ron Swanson. So I'm like, why are you calling me Ron Swanson? And then I'd go watch the show, and I'd be like, this guy's brilliant. I love this.
He is.
I love this.
He's great. Oh, Have you seen? Maybe I asked you this earlier today. Have you seen any previews for the Heroes Reborn show?
No.
It's going to be a mini-series, but if anybody remembers the I guess you can call it a superhero show from the early. Well, when was that show on? I guess it was the mid-2000s.
Mid-2000s.
It was a show called Heroes, and it was about these people that developed these powers, and it lasted for 4 seasons. Although, if you are going to go out and get caught up, don't even bother watching the 4th season. It was horrible. The 4th season is a very good example of why it's not on the air anymore. But I guess they're going to do a mini-series this year, and they've started airing commercials about it. So I'm a little bit excited, but also kind of worried. I mean, because I have seen the 4th season, so hopefully it won't be crap like that one was. But yeah, I just there's been a lot of shows, in the past that were really good. That
yes,
they just shows they just don't make like that anymore. Like Firefly, that was a great show.
Not my favorite sci-fi show, and I don't know why.
Wow, I love that show, but Fox canceled that one.
It was way better than half of the other crap on TV. So yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe they did. My favorite's Babylon 5.
And we were talking about that earlier. I've actually never seen it. I'm
a big Babylon 5 freak.
I gotta try it sometime. Is it on Netflix?
No, sadly. It's not on Netflix, it's not on Hulu. It might be on Amazon Instant Video, I do not know.
No, Boston Randy, I don't think they're going to call it Heroes 2 Electric Boogaloo.
No, the brilliance of Babylon 5 is it did predict a lot of the things that we see now. The show came out, it was in the mid-90s, and it was considered one of the best-looking shows on television because they used a lot of computer graphics, just a ton of them. And they were one of the first shows to actually do it mainstream on television, where a lot of places were saving them for the movies. There's some brilliant acting, some great story arcs, and the guy who created the show, saw it through beginning to end. He got to see all his arcs through, and the one thing that always struck with me was they predicted the NSA.
Very cool.
And they portrayed it so wonderfully. It was just absolutely amazing. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. It does take a minute to get started, in season 1 because they're doing all the backstory, but once it gets going in season 2, you've got wars and rebellions and everything else going on, so it gets pretty crazy.
Nice. Did you ever watch a show? It was on Fox. It was only on for 1 year. It got pulled just like Firefly did. It was called Dollhouse.
Yes.
That was a good
one. I
one.
liked it.
That was a good one.
I like that show. It's another Josh Whedon.
Trying to think of some other shows that I used to watch that didn't last long.
I watched some of the ones that did last long. I love The X-Files. It's an absolute classic.
Yeah, I saw a few episodes, but I was not a regular viewer.
Oh my goodness, I've seen every single one.
Did you ever watch Jericho?
No.
You remember that one? Okay, that was it lasted for I think about 2 seasons. Kind of a post-apocalyptic drama type thing.
Yeah, I knew the premise, I just never got to watch it.
Yeah, I liked it. It was a really interesting show and kind of had some elements of how powerful the government can be. Kind of scary because I mean, essentially the premise of the show is that nuclear devices blow up in all these different American cities, and the government was behind it. So it's
Go
really,
figure.
Yeah, really odd.
Do
let's see,
you
what else
watch
did
Last Man Standing?
What's that?
Curious. Do you watch Last Man Standing with Tim Allen?
No.
It's an interesting show because it's so political. It's a comedy. He is small business owning conservative. He does video blogs about politics and ties it back to his store. And he's married to a moderate liberal. And one of their daughters, the eldest, is liberal. The middle daughter doesn't care. She's just like a typical fashion chick. And then the youngest daughter wants to be the first female sniper in the army. And it's a funny show. It's kind of nice to see the playoff of course, there's not really too many libertarian themes in it, but the typical liberal, the typical conservative as portrayed in the media, and how they like debate with each other and how the themes run through the shows. But it doesn't do it in a degrading way, and in the end, there are a lot of liberty ideas that come through.
Huh. How many
so, if you're looking for something lighthearted to check out, Last Man Standing.
Check that. Boss Granny, I'm actually interested in seeing that myself. Is that supposed to be a mini-series? It's called Dig?
I know nothing about it.
Yeah, it's a show on the USA Network. Kind of Da Vinci Code-ish from what I gathered. I could be wrong, but that's kind of the kind of where I got it, or what I got from the few previews I've seen. Let's look it up and see, is that supposed to be a regular series or a mini-series? Dig. Well, it says TV series. It starts on March 5th. Premise: story focuses on an FBI agent who is based in Jerusalem and discovers a plot that dates back 2,000 years. Interesting. That's what I thought. So I guess it is a series. I'm going to check that out. I think so. It's a regular series, but no amount of episodes have been listed. Might be worth checking out.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break and run some promos here, and then we'll be back talking more about TV shows. We'll be back.
So just what is the Edge of Anarchy? So just what is the Edge of Anarchy?
The show where liberals think we throw Ayn Rand books at homeless people in between bomb hits.
What?
What happens when Vigilant Liberty Radio ties an anvil to itself and jumps into a cavern of chaos Looney Tunes style? You get Edge of Anarchy.
Do I make myself?
So just what is the Edge of Anarchy?
The show where liberals think we throw Ayn Rand books at homeless people in between bomb hits.
What?
What happens when Vigilant Liberty Radio ties an anvil to itself and jumps into a cavern of chaos Looney Tunes style? You get Edge of Anarchy.
Do I make myself clear?
This is Amanda, and join me every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time to find out what Edge of Anarchy is all about. Only on Vigilant Liberty Radio.
Hi, I'm Taylor Millard, co-host of The Right War, here on Vigilant Liberty Radio. I'll give you one simple reason why you need to listen to Liz Harrison and me every Wednesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern. You never know when I'm going to put my foot in my mouth. Liz, I've had similar situations with you in bed. Wait, what? What? That just came out way wrong. That's The Right War, every Wednesdays and Thursdays at 11 p.m. Eastern, here on Vigilant Liberty Radio.
I don't have answers. I have opinions and an internet connection.